Hello everyone, thank you for tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios for this episode of Vidiot Movie Reviews. I'm the nerd Lust Daddy, and today we continue our series reviewing every North American live-action video game film adaptation theatrical release. In this episode, we continue barreling down the tracks on the Paul W.S. Anderson train as we review 2012's Resident Evil Retribution.
Fucking chit, these things never stop coming.
Yeah, tell me about it, Pidds. But it almost seems as if every other one is decent. So let's dive in and see if this one is better than the last one. Now, Resident Evil Retribution was released in North American theaters on September 14th, 2012. At that time, 20 games had been released in the series in combinations of mainline releases, spin-offs, and remakes. We will of course be sticking with the mainline releases for comparison. Those games are Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 5. Again, we're going to be using these for a very loose comparison, as the film series has gone off the tracks and bears little resemblance to the games anymore. Now, we've covered the plot of the games once again in our last episode, so we're going to keep this brief. The Umbrella Corporation, a worldwide pharmaceutical company, began experimenting with the T-virus, intending to use it as a biological weapon. This virus, it can turn humans into zombies and mutate living animals and plants into monsters. Now, their work began in a secret underground laboratory located beneath the fictional Raccoon City, which serves as the setting for many of the games in the series. Ultimately, the T-virus gets loose and goes out of control, spreading throughout the entire world. Recurring characters within the series try to stop the Umbrella Corporation, such as Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, Leon S. Kennedy, and Claire Redfield. Now, the plot for this film picks up where Resident Evil Afterlife left off. Alice and the rest of the survivors stand on the deck of the ship Arcadia as a fleet of Umbrella tilt rotors attack them. During the assault, Alice is hit by an explosion and falls into the water, knocked unconscious. She awakens in a bed with a man named Todd, who seems to be her husband and appears to look exactly like Carlos Oliveira, beckoning her to awaken before she runs late for the day. Entering the kitchen, she learns that she also has a daughter that is deaf. While acclimating to and accepting the situation, she begins sending her husband off for the day when zombies break into the home and begin attacking them. Alice escapes with her daughter and ends up being picked up in a car and helped by a woman who looks exactly like Rain Ocampo from the first film. After a collision with a truck, Alice escapes with her daughter to hide in a home, but is then seemingly attacked and killed by a zombie version of her husband. We then cut to Alice awakening in an Umbrella cell and being interrogated by Jill Valentine, who is now under the control of Umbrella. During the night, someone then disables the security system so that Alice can escape. During her escape attempt, she runs into Ada Wong and Wesker, who explain that she's in an underground facility designed to create thousands of clones for use in simulations by Umbrella. The AI, the Red Queen, is still operational and has taken over control of Umbrella and uses these simulations to predict and learn how to control the virus for use in its goal of wiping out humanity. Wesker then tells Alice that an assault team led by Leon S. Kennedy and Barry Burton will be coming to help her escape, and that they must all work together to try and stop the Red Queen and prevent the extinction of humanity. Alright, so let's judge this thing on its own merits, since we are all well aware the movie series has thoroughly jumped the tracks and gone off into batshit territory. Without revealing too much of the plot of this film, it is incredibly ludicrous. We've already injected unrelated shit like telekinesis and cloning into the series, and the plot of this film just ramps some of that up to 11. Even when paying close attention, your head's gonna spin a bit from jumping back and forth between perspectives until what is happening is revealed. It's not confusing, but it is disassociating. But I have to admit that the plot at least has some mild charm and interest to it, enough for a passing hawoo. Pidds, what did you think about the plot?
Hawoo.
So how about the setting and world representation? The world does look accurate to the zombie post-apocalyptic one found in the games. As usual, we also get plenty of accurate-looking zombies and other creatures from the universe, including a giant licker. Also, I have to say that the main characters introduced within this sequel all look fairly accurate to their game counterparts. My main complaint is that some of the CGI again seems a bit weaker compared to previous films, but that doesn't affect the overall look and representation. So this gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of the setting and world representation?
Woo!
Alright, on to the characters. We're going to be sticking with just the main characters in the film and those in the film from the games. Let's start with Carlos Oliveira. Played by Oded Fehr, known for his roles in Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, The Mummy, and its sequel, The Mummy Returns. Here, he returns as the ex-Umbrella Special Forces officer. Only in this sequel, he now once again is working for Umbrella, but that is due to a certain plot reason I don't wish to spoil. Regardless of the performance itself, the representation here is just so far off the rails from the game's original vision that I have to give him a chit futter. Pidds, what did you think of Carlos?
Chit futter.
Barry Burton. Portrayed by Kevin Durand, known for his roles in the television series Dark Angel, as well as the movies X-Men Origins Wolverine and The Butterfly Effect. Here he plays the role of the STARS member from the games. Now, while the look is good, he has no relation to his origins in the game whatsoever. We have yet again another case of taking a character from the games and just dropping them into the film series as nothing more than an extremely weak reference to the source material, but with no rationale or background provided. This one's another chit futter for me. Pidds, what did you think of Barry?
Chit futter.
Leon S. Kennedy. Played by Johan Erb, mainly known for his television roles in such series as The Mountain and Eastwick. Here, they bring him in to play the RPD officer from the games. Yet again, the look is good for this character, but despite any level of acting, this character is nonsensical. Another example of dropping in a character from the games to create a weak association with them, while providing no explanation or background as to why they exist within the film universe. Yet another chit futter for me. Pidds, what did you think of Leon?
Chit futter.
Ada Wong. Portrayed by Li Bingbing, mostly known within the Asian film scene, you may recognize her from the Jackie Chan and Jet Li movie The Forbidden Kingdom. Here, they bring her into play Ada, who was introduced in Resident Evil 2. Her look is good, as well as her acting, but still, we have the recurring theme of a character being brought in from the games as nothing more than a name drop and a weak association with them. There's little to no background reason for her to be in this film other than to say, remember her from the games? Look, we're a Resident Evil film. Just more half-assed character dropping that is shameful. Chit futter for me. Pidds, what did you think of Ada?
Chit futter.
Albert Wesker. Played by Sean Roberts, known for his roles in George A. Romero's zombie films Land of the Dead and Diary of the Dead. Here he plays the Umbrella agent who has been a constant antagonist throughout the game series and most of the film series. The portrayal here is still excellent as Roberts hams it up with a classic, malevolent, and overly confident, cheesy portrayal stereotypical of antagonist roles in B-movies like this. I still really enjoy his portrayal. It's just that in this sequel, he is very underutilized and has very little screen presence. So, at most, I can give him a passing hawoo. Pidds, what did you think of Wesker?
Hawoo.
Jill Valentine. Portrayed by Sienna Gilroy, known for her roles in Aragon and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Here the portrayal is at least somewhat on par with the games as she is being controlled by Umbrella against her will like in them. The look though isn't on point. Still, it's an enjoyable performance that at least gets the portrayal of the events in the games halfway right. I can give her a passing hawoo. Pidds, what did you think of Jill?
Hawoo.
Alice. Played by Mila Jovovich, known for The Fifth Element and, of course, every damn Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil film ever. Again, she reprises her role as the original character for this series. The portrayal here was pretty good as the strong and dedicated ex-Umbrella member out to stop them at any cost. I thought she stepped it up a bit from the last movie where it felt like she was just phoning it in. She brings a better acting game and gets to stretch her action heroine legs here much more than in the previous film. She gets a hawoo here from me. Pidds, what did you think of Alice?
Hawoo.
Alright, let's jump into our final verdicts here. The plot is alright, but still has gone off the rails from the source material and is very bad shit up to this point. The setting and world representation of the universe stay at a good level, even though the CGI seems to be less impressive than in earlier entries. And the characters, no matter how good the acting or their look, have the majority of them being just a bunch of character and name drops to lazily, very loosely attempt to link the film series to the game universe. Let's turn to the Pidds first and see what he thinks. Pidds, what did you think of Resident Evil Retribution?
Hawoo.
You got it, Pidds. This is at best an average action horror B-movie zombie flick. I love B-movie plots, even bad shit ones, but this is spiraling out of control and away from the plot of the games incredibly. It pretty much has little to no resemblance to them now. The majority of the characters in this film are awful, considering they are nothing more than extremely weak ways to try and link it to the original IP. They're just lazily dropped into this movie with no background build-up and are expected to be accepted and survive on just name alone. The saving grace here that holds it afloat and brought it up a point from the last one is that at least it's not boring. This sequel is a non-stop action extravaganza that you can also consider a greatest hits compilation, as they bring back every single main character from the films and drop in new ones from the games. It relentlessly comes at you with action and attempts to pull at your nostalgia with familiar characters, even if they are pretty much familiar in just name and look alone. I can give this one a 5Zs out of 10Zs. It's a decent popcorn action horror flick if you have nothing better to do. Again, if you are already invested in the film series, this one is an alright watch and better than the slow pace of the previous film. But overall, I can't make a direct recommendation to fans of the Resident Evil games, nor fans of B-action horror movies, as it's middling at best. The Pidds and I want to thank you all for once again tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios for this episode of Vidiot Movie Reviews. If you enjoyed our video, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share to show your support. And don't forget to also check us out and subscribe on Twitch, as well as follow us on Twitter. Until next time, I'm the Nerd Lust Daddy, as always reminding you all to not be chit futters. Body autonomy for all, reproductive rights for women, and peace, love, and happiness to all. Take us out, Pidds.
Thank you all again for watching. We'll see you all again next week.